leadership is influence with the gorgeous, the fabulous Jennifer Myers. How are we today, Jennifer?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome with your best American accent, was it?
Yeah, I've been in New Zealand for 12 years, but gosh darn it, that American accent just still hanging in there.
And we're going to find out about that in just a moment. If you have any questions about anything that we discuss over the next 20, 25 minutes with Jennifer, please put in your comments down below under this live stream video. And Jennifer will get back to you and answer any of those questions that you have. Or if you're just calling in from, or you're watching this video from anywhere in the world, please tell us your name and where you're from. And it'd be great to get your feedback about this live stream. But this live stream is about leadership, and it's about influential leadership. And you said you've been in New Zealand for 12 years, but you just can't shake that accent. Tell us a bit about Jennifer. Who is Jennifer Myers?
Who is Jennifer Myers? Jennifer Myers is an expat American who had a revelation with her partner 12 years ago, late one night in the States. We kind of sat down and realized that our lives were running us instead of the other way around, and we needed to do something very different. Long story short, we decided to shift halfway around the world in an attempt to find a place that suited us a bit better. And yeah, 12 years later, it's been one of the best decisions we could have made. And yeah, absolutely stoked to be here.
And you did that before the before the birth of your daughter?
We did that when she was 7. So we now have a 20-year-old daughter. She was 7 at the time that we moved, took it in her stride. It was just awesome. So she's mostly grown up here. And she's a lovely and talented musician on the rise. So she's a singer-songwriter, and she's just released a new single. So
when's that coming out?
Well, the latest single just came out on the what month are we in? Came out on the 8th of April. And it's called Loser. And her name is Erin Myers, Erin Myers, Myers. You can search her up on Spotify. She's got more songs out there. So yeah. And my hubby, I'm married to a clinical psychologist. So everyone who meets me says, what's it like to be married to a psychologist? Does he analyze you all the time?
And of course, I might have been following your things on Facebook, and you have a gorgeous wee puppy. Well, probably not a puppy anymore. Tell us about your wee little dog.
My wee little dog is no longer a wee little dog. So we thought we were going to get a small little lap dog. We ended up with a Labradoodle, and he's mostly lab. If you look at him, you would have no idea there was any doodle in there at all. But he's lovely. His name is Leaf, and he is now almost 21 weeks or 5 months old. So he's going to be a monster. He's huge already.
And tearing up the house, no doubt.
No, he's lovely.
Let's talk about Generate Leadership Solutions. What exactly does that mean, and what is it that you do?
So Generate Leadership Solutions is a business that I own with a business partner. We started this a couple of years ago, right before lockdown, actually. But I've been a certified leadership and business coach for years, right? I've done nothing else since I've moved to New Zealand. So Generate Leadership Solutions was started because we saw a gap with skill sets with the clients that we were working with, coaching clients. And so as I would work with a client, it would occur to me that there was just a few missing pieces. And it was mostly around the ability to lead and influence their team, their clients, right? Their strategic alliances. And there was a lack of ability to effectively communicate. So Generate Leadership Influence is all about helping create connected leaders and helping teams learn how to communicate effectively so that everyone works better together and the business does better.
Do you have a particular way of dealing with clients and how you take that problem and solve that for them? Or is that hush hush? It's obviously on a client bespoke basis, but can you give us a little bit of information on that?
How we work with clients is a bit bespoke. It's totally based upon, the resources that we've accumulated over the last decade plus. But really what we do is have a bit of a discovery session with the leaders or the owners in a business to say, what are the biggest things that are keeping you up at night? And a lot of that is based around lack of certainty, lack of clarity, lack of knowing how to lead, and a lack of effective communication across the organization. So what we do is we really come in and we say, all right, we've got tools available that are actually quite unique, that set us apart in the marketplace, that are tools that only a few people across New Zealand have access to, which is kind of cool, around the DISC behavioral model and some of the ways that we can use that with teams, and around some of the leadership tools we have. We've actually got something called the leadership game, which is a fantastic cultural diagnostic and leadership skills diagnostic tool that we can use with a leadership team that really turns up areas that need to be then further worked on through coaching or through training.
But why? What's the? I've always find this a enthralling conversation, because it's one thing that people do what they do, but as Simon Sinek says, why? From looking at it from a Jennifer Myers perspective, why do you do this? What was that moment for you that you said, this is the thing?
Yeah, so it's not an intellectual thing where the idea to do what I do came from, oh, there seems to be a gap in the market for coaches, because there's certainly not a gap in the market for coaches, right? They're everywhere. So what really kind of brought me to doing what I do was an experience back in the States. I ran an organization with professional women in business, people who own businesses, and female professionals. And I was facilitating an event for the ladies in my area. I lived in South Florida at the time. And through some of the work that I did with that group of ladies, one woman came up to me after a particular luncheon that I had put on, and she said, Jennifer, I've just got to let you know that this organization has changed my life. Now, I still get goosebumps when I tell that story because it was so impactful. I had no idea that I was in a position to be able to change people's lives. And I loved how that felt. That fed my soul, right? So when I moved here, the opportunity arose to coach and to train and to speak and all the things that I do in my business right now, which basically led me to exerting my leadership, developing my leadership. Because as John Maxwell says, and I'm a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, he says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Because people watch us that we don't even know are watching us and observing us. People are watching this live stream right now who I'm not even aware of, who are taking cues from what we're talking about. So that for me, the ability to have a positive influence on as many people as I possibly can before I die is my goal in life. And that's really what spins my wheels.
Great story. And I would imagine that, you get to impact those people and make a difference. Is that ultimately where it comes from?
It is. And the world is crazy enough, and people are unhappy enough, and people think business is hard and life is hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. If I can help people and have a positive influence on them with the tools that I can bring to the table around helping them develop their ability to influence the people around them, and their ability to be savvier about their businesses, and their ability to communicate, then I've done my job and I've made them better. And that makes me feel good.
It makes everybody feel good, Jennifer. You said when you were doing a lot of work in the States, you were facilitating some group with some ladies there, and more recently, you have been doing something with what's called the 90-Day Divas. Can you tell us a bit about the 90-Day Divas?
So the 90-Day Divas. All right. So here's a little backstory to that. I've been involved with something called Venus Business Women, or previously the Venus Network, here in New Zealand for the last 11 years, almost since I moved here. And it is a professional network of women around the country, 700 of us, who support each other, which is great. I've met a couple of those ladies who are based in the Hawke's Bay, several months ago. And we are 3 coaches with 3 different areas of specialty. And what we decided to do was a bit of an experiment at first. We got along really well. We have really complementary skills. And we decided to do something called the 90-Day Divas, which is an online coaching program for people who are either starting a business and have no idea where to start, or feeling like they've lost the mojo in their existing business, and really need to regain the mojo and regain some clarity and focus. And what we do is we bring our skills to the table for a 90-day group coaching program. It's totally online. And it turned out great. We just ran through our first intake and finished that group recently. We're having another intake starting on the 6th of May. And I think this thing has some legs. It's been quite fun.
What's been the feedback from your first intake?
Oh, the feedback from the first intake. Clarity. People have gotten clarity on their target market. People have clarity on their goals. What do I want to achieve? They've gotten from one of our other coaches, they understand how to pull together sensible social media and marketing plan. And really the mindset shifts that have happened as a result of people working with us have been fantastic, really embracing the fact that, yes, I can be an entrepreneur. I can do this.
Although I was told, yes, it's that's the idea with being an entrepreneur, but really, I think most small businesses, they are just self-employed. Is that right? I know it's an aspirational goal to be an entrepreneur. I want to be that guy or gal. Okay, maybe I just need to go back and do some revisit and get re-inspired with the 90-Day Divas. Oh, okay, well, I have to put on a couple. I'll have to put on a wig for that one. Can you talk through? You've already mentioned that you've had some success with that first intake. Can you give us an example of any other client stories that you've had in the past where you've helped people get past a particular problem and what you provided for them?
Absolutely. So how I've helped people through Generate Leadership Solutions, I've got so many examples that I can't really narrow it down to, one, but we'll attempt to do 1 or 2, right? So a recent example that I can share is I worked with a client who's got a team of 400 people spread around, more than that, 800 people spread around New Zealand. And that team has a level of managers, about 20 managers, mid-level, who didn't have a very good communication strategy in place. The owner recognized that the team wasn't communicating as well as they could be, didn't know each other as well as they should. And it was really kind of costing the business in terms of miscommunication, misunderstanding, less efficiency. And so they brought me in to work with them. We did a bit of one-to-one work around the DISC behavioral profiles, and we did a group session. We got everybody together from around the country, these 20 people, and just had a wonderful half-day session in a room together. And the difference from the beginning of the day to the end of the day was fantastic with what they were sharing, with what they were learning about each other, and the tools they were able to take away from that after the session. They've been able to go back to those to maintain the communication channels and keep them open. So that's really good. Another success that I can share is with a team, again, that's based around New Zealand. I've got a few national clients. One of those based around New Zealand, their sales team is distributed around the country. And the company is one of those that doesn't have their own internal training manager. So they came to me and said, Jen, do you do training videos, sales training? I'm like, absolutely, that's something I can do. So we've created a sales training program for them that's basically a done-for-you program. The owner knew that he was leaving money on the table by not really having a training program in place to help his new people build relationships and really embrace those selling without being icky skills. So I pulled together a program for them, and they've been using that for the past 2 years.
2 great examples. Well done. Well done. You've already alluded to it before, where you said that you have some unique skills that are really only available. So really, there's lots of leadership coaches. You've already said that. What sets you apart?
So what sets us apart is the access that we have to world-class tools that you just can't hardly find in New Zealand. As a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, the John Maxwell team is based in the States. And not that everything from the States is great or the best, you know what I'm saying, but the materials that John Maxwell and his team put out for us who are his certified coaches to use are really unique, like the leadership game. There is something called the communication game, which really allows you to get a team around a table, a team of up to 20 people around a table, or virtually, we can facilitate this, and really ask questions like, what do we say we do, but we actually don't do as a team? How can we improve communication with our customers? Because good just isn't good enough anymore. It's got to be great. There's great questions that we really bring out when we get that team around the table, because teams have great ideas, but often they don't feel comfortable saying that idea to a manager, to an owner, unless you're in that relaxed game format. And then you get people to really think creatively. The DISC work that we do. So the DISC behavioral styles model is a way for us to understand not only how we are wired to communicate, but it helps us identify clues in other people so that we can identify how to approach those people in a conversation or in an interaction such that we get the best possible result by kind of reading what they need and what they fear based on the clues they're giving us in their communication and their behavior.
Let's talk a bit about influence. How are we, as like, let's say if I was coming to work with you, how can I be aware of my influence? How and I'm clear that would be through the DISC work that you would put people through. But how can you help people be aware of certain levers of influence that they are applying or not applying?
So when we think about our influence, as I mentioned before, so many people are watching us that we're not even aware of. The checkout person at the supermarket that you see every other day, the receptionist in the office building that you come into, your family, your friends, people in your kids' sports clubs, their parents. We are being observed online. People are looking at your social media presence and going, who is this person? So many people are watching us that we need to be aware of who we are being in order to put out the positive influence that we want others to take on. So when we think about the concept of influence and our leadership, developing our own skills as a leader and an influencer first is the first step, and then those flow over. So one of the concepts that we have in a training that I do is called the law of the lid. And the law of the lid says your leadership lid, or the cap on your current leadership ability, is what determines your level of success. And the only way to be more successful is to raise your lid or raise your cap. And when you raise the cap and develop those skills, those then flow over to the people around you. And that's how you become someone who then lifts other people up and helps them develop their leadership skills. And it's really connecting. It's all about relationships, right? It's about connecting with other people and really seeing them as on a human to human level.
Last question for you. What does the rest of 2022 look like for Generate Leadership Solutions? What's a big goal that's just not on your list? What is a big goal that you would like to achieve this year?
So another big goal that I would like to achieve in Generate Leadership Solutions this year is to bring to start a podcast. So that's been on the list for a while. But it had to get pushed to the back burner because I've been so busy. I've been covered up the beginning of this year, which has been great. But now that I've got a bit of breathing room, we need to start the podcast. I need a good title for that, by the way. So if anyone out there listening has a great title for a leadership podcast, drop me a comment or let me know. Or if you'd like to be interviewed. The other thing I'd like to achieve this year is to bring on another national client who's really looking for a done-for-you training solution, whether that's around sales and relationship building skills, bringing in a lot of that Maxwell content, right, that talks about relationships, or whether it's around the general business, having a resilient business that can make it through all the craziness that we've seen over the past couple of years. Yeah, I would love to do that.
And then just to watch Leaf grow to be a mountain dog.
He's going to be a monster, but he's getting very well trained, because I don't want to be that family that walks the dog and everybody kind of avoids them because the dog's crazy.
But therefore you're training the dog.
We are training the dog.
You're training. Excellent. Excellent. How much food is it going through now?
Don't know. Haven't kept track. I just ordered a 9 kg bag, and I'm hoping 18 kg bag. And I'm hoping that's going to last for 60 days. So we'll see.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add in our chat today, Jennifer?
Oh my gosh. No, it's been lovely. I appreciate you checking in and allowing us to do this as a live event. Hopefully somebody who's tuning in has learned a little bit about who the heck I am. I've been out there in LinkedIn land for a very long time, but I'm not as active as I should be. So yeah, that's another thing that's a goal this year, is to become a bit more consistent on social media.
Excellent. Excellent. Consistency is the key to everything, I think. But Jennifer, thank you so much for your time, and you have a great afternoon.